Hello there, friends. Rebecca here, the Dragon Librarian from Farmington Community Library. And since Valentine's Day was this week, I've got another week's worth of really amazing sort of romancy books to talk about with you guys today. Now, actually, the two that I'm going to feature, one is a series and one is a duology, are actually a little bit of older books. They're not brand new books, but that's okay because they're actually some of my favorite in the genre, and I think they're absolutely wonderful. And maybe if you haven't heard of them, or maybe if you have heard of them but you haven't read them yet, or even if you have read them, maybe you'd like to revisit them. So the first one I want to talk about is actually called Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe. I love this book, and as you can see by all the different awards it has won, it's a Prince Honor Award book, it's a Stonewall Award book, a Pura Belprix Award winner, Lambda Literary Awards winner. It's won a lot of awards, so a lot of people think it's a pretty amazing book. So this is technically considered historical fiction, even though it takes place in the 80s, which was when I was growing up, so that makes me sort of want to cry inside to think of the time that I was growing up as historical fiction, but there you have it. So this is just a really simple, beautiful story about two boys in the 80s who meet this one summer and develop this beautiful friendship, which then turns into something more. And that's a really simple explanation of what this book is about, but it's so much more than that. Just think of it as this one summer, and these two boys are meeting, and it takes place longer than the summer, but that's where really the heart of the book is when they first meet. And the way they meet is that Ari can't swim, and he meets this boy at the pool named Dante who can. So Dante tells Ari that he's going to teach him how to swim. They start doing swimming lessons, and then they start talking about other things like their lives, their families. Dante is really into poetry and books and literature, and they just form this really close bond. It's also about family. So Ari has to deal with a lot of different stuff because of the color of his skin, which is darker than Dante's. He actually also has an older brother who is in prison, and his parents won't talk about it, won't talk about the brother, and so Ari is left with a lot of feelings about that him and Dante sort of bond over and talk about. And it's just such a beautiful, simple story. Like, if you think about a time that you've met somebody in your life that ended up being really important to you, and how every little thing and every little day spent with them just can feel so enormous. And that's sort of the feeling that you get from reading this book. It's just this beautiful story. I love it so much. So this is Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe by Benjamin Alire Saenz. And I know I said this is an older book, and it is, but I think it came out over 10 years ago. The really exciting thing is, just recently, this author came out with a sequel. What? I know, like 10 years later, he came out with a sequel, and it was super exciting. And I do have the sequel here, and it's Aristotle and Dante Dive into the Waters of the World. So this is more of a... and you can tell it's a lot longer. This one is more about their relationship and how it starts to grow and flourish, and all the problems that they start to encounter because of it, and because of other aspects of their lives. Because their relationship part of the book really doesn't kick up until the end of the first book, which is still great. It is a slow burn romance of a story, and I love it. But this one is more about their relationship itself and how they're growing together and learning more about each other. Another beautiful story. Aristotle and Dante. You will fall in love with them just like I did. They're amazing. So the next one I want to talk about is actually a series, and it's a series I read a really long time ago, but I think it still holds up, and it's amazing. And this is the series that actually made me really crazy about this author too. So the book is called Shiver by Maggie Stiefvater. Shiver. And she has written a lot of really amazing books. As much as I love this book series, this is not even my favorite book series by her. I'll probably have to do another video somewhere down the line where I'm talking about some of her other books, which are also amazing. But this was the first one that I fell in love with, the first one that I read. Just look at this minimalist cover. I love it. You've got the wolf here. You've got the little tiny drop of blood that is dotting the eye. You've got the leaves that look like little hearts. So, yes, this is a love story, and it is a love story between a high school girl and a werewolf boy. And I know werewolves are coming back. I know you're going to tell me werewolves are so 10 years ago or whatever, but they're not. They're coming back. There's a lot of books actually that have just recently come out and that are coming out this year that will prove that correct. But this book is so beautiful. I just really loved it. So it's about this girl named Grace and this boy named Sam, who is also a werewolf. And the thing that's really cool about the werewolfness of this story is that it's related to temperature. So when it becomes really cold out, Sam, who is the werewolf, can't help it. He changes into a wolf and he lives outside. When it's really warm, he can turn into a boy. So certain times of the year, he is able to be a human and walk around the world and do this and that. And other times of the year, he has to remain a wolf. So it's all about him meeting Grace and them connecting. Grace was attacked by wolves and almost killed when she was a little girl. And Sam actually saved her, so they have this bond then. I just really love the story. It's just such a classic, beautiful. If you're looking for just one of those amazing love stories that feature paranormal creatures, this is a really great one. So Shiver is the first book in the series. And then the second book in the series is called Linger. And another thing that's really cool is the color scheme, right? So this is green, the other one was blue, and the text is actually green. Printed in green ink, blue ink for the other one, which is really cool. And then the last book in this trilogy is called Forever, which is in red. And again, the text is in red, which is really cool. There's another book that came out after this that was sort of a companion book that featured one of the other characters, like his story. But this is the main 3 books in the trilogy. Really fantastic. They're absolutely wonderful. Highly, highly recommend it. If you're looking for a great feel-good story, especially this time of year, this is a great series to go for. Well, that's what we've got for you guys today. I hope that they sound really cool and awesome. Perfect books to read this time of the year, or really any time of the year. Please feel free to come and get them from Farmington Community Library. And if you were watching this video and you enjoyed it, please give it a like. I really appreciate it. And thank you so much. Have a wonderful rest of the week.